Shalom. It's 2012, October, the year of the prophecy. The prophecy many call the Mayan prophecy. The Mayan prophecy dates back before the Mayan prophecy. What I'm saying is that it was prophesied in Egypt and prophesied in Sumeria. The knowledge is from the original people on earth. Black Americans are the original people. They are the original people on earth, which means they dwelled every place on the earth. Now, what I have to do is try to get you to understand about the Electoral College. But be patient with me because I have so much information to share with you. So much information. And so I'm going to divert. But the main topic is the Electoral College. The Electoral College is the 11th Amendment. An alien do not have constitutional rights to the 11th Amendment. It is as simple as that. They're not constitutional citizens. You have 200 or 300 million, maybe, aliens who are running to vote and going along with a system of media-controlled puppets to pretend that anybody can just jump over the fence and pick a president. Now, either our constitutional writers must have been the dumbest people on earth, or this is what you call a hijacking of government. And it has been hijacked. It's been hijacked since 1877. Ruther B. Hayes, he was the president that ran shortly after the Civil War. And they told the troops of the national security of Washington, D.C., not to enforce constitutional rights of Black Americans, who they knew were supreme as citizens. Okay, and if anybody don't know, the 14th was given to Black Americans first. Black Americans inherited because 3/5 can't consent to anything. So that means once the 14th was constitutionalized, it became a non-consented amendment. So these 200 to 300 million more claiming 14 rights have to pretend that the Constitution don't exist, have to pretend that Black Americans or 3/5 could consent. They have to pretend the Civil War wasn't won. They have to pretend a fence jumper can elect the president. They have to pretend that presidents are determined on the state level only, while embezzling a national amendment, which is the 11th Electoral College. They have to pretend the 15th Amendment don't exist. So all this have to be pretended, and they have to pretend that blacks don't have any voting right as a minority. And they have to pretend that this is a constitutional public, instead of a constitutional republic, where the minority is supreme, just like if you was on a jury. You can't move that jury if one of them jurors protests. You have to deal with that protest. So that's what a republic is. You have to deal with the constitutional citizens who are non-consenters. 3/5 couldn't consent. And if 3/5 equals 60%, so that 60% that everyone wants to pretend was just a vote and it had nothing to do with human capital, hijacking of inalienable rights, even on a voting level, 60% means that the 15th Amendment, which is a built-in, automated, supreme, guaranteed voting amendment that is not affected by anybody else. No one can affect this amendment. You can put 1 billion black men in jail. Their voting amendment still stands and supremes any other votes that come here and try to say it don't exist because you think you the 17th and you think you the 19th and you think you got this act and you think you got this and you think you got that, and then you go into your little cubicles in the state talking about states' rights, and you're an alien. You have to be a citizen to have states' rights. And even the citizens of several states, which were Caucasians that wasn't national citizens, did not have state rights that supremed the Constitution. Okay? So this whole hijacking of this dung republic, I don't even want to call it a banana republic. It's even lower than that. It's a dung republic where the masses want to pretend in willful ignorance that they don't know that blacks have rights. They know. They're just that evil. You know, what else could you describe them as? Everyone was made informed because the Most High made sure everyone knew a massacre took place in this country of Native Americans, which included millions and millions of black Native Americans. And everyone knows that it's been centuries and centuries and centuries and centuries of stolen labor and oppression of black people, and murder and hanging and lynchings, and that a whole lot of Judah, somewhere upwards with 130 million to possibly 200 million, was thrown to sharks in the transatlantic slave trade. So this Constitution is a cosmic blood contract involving all that, including revolutionaries, including Civil War veterans, including Vietnam veterans that were forced, which many was blacks, non-consenters. See, we can talk about Vietnam veterans, but we have a non-consenter built in the Constitution, and that's the 15th Amendment. He couldn't consent for the vote. Once you're a non-consenter, you can't consent to anything. 3/5 can't consent to be put in the Constitution. 3/5 couldn't consent to receiving even the 13th Amendment. We couldn't consent to even becoming national citizens because God people inherit. They don't consent. They're non-consenters. And that's how God identifies his people. They're set aparts. So the Khazars calling themselves Jew-ishy is a Jew-wishy. It's a wish that they was us. It's Jew-wishy. We're Judaic. We're Judea. We're Judah, we're Yehuda. So, them saying that they're Jewishy is a wish. It's a ye wish you were Judah or Judaic, because you know that they have the wealth and they're the namesake. And the Khazars, really, I have to give them credit in this sense, in the fact that they never said they was Jews by birth. They said they were converted Jews. But the fact that the masses are so evil and so calcified in pink skin, a curse, and pink skin and stringy hair, curse embellishment and hubris, that they want to have namesakes painted in what they look like. You know, they want to make that their image of whatever. But Khazars themselves say they was converted. They never said they was by birth. So they are even more honest than these people claiming the 14th, knowing they had no history of slavery in this country. Now, this has to do with the Electoral College. Like I said, 3/5 by itself is 60%. And this is the black man 15th Amendment, supreme. So that at the state level, they put them in jail and say you can't vote. So you want to say you're supreme in the 15th Amendment? You're just because you got on the boat a little later on, and you had, your Dracon masters and satanic masters tell you that you can tell the Holy Covenant heirs, which is the Constitution is the Holy Covenant. We've been sleeping. We've been in the wilderness 40 years. We should have knew that this was the promised land deed about 40 years ago. We really have been in the wilderness. And what made us be in the wilderness is because we failed to care for our children.